Good afternoon. My name is Rudi, and I will be your presenter for tonight. Now, tonight we're going to speak a little bit about the SMS notifications that the system sends out to you, and also how to set up your SMS notifications for when you bought a share, and also what will it tell you when you basically need to go and sell a share. Um, so first things first is we're going to start off with the stop loss and the target value and the gross stop loss. Now, obviously, at this stage, you should have bought some shares. So, for instance, this is my list of shares, and if I wanted to set up a stop loss, let's say for SSW for Sibanye Stillwater, what I do is I go to my right hand side, right over there, where it says action, and I click on action over there. Okay, so I've bought the share now, and I need to go and set up a SMS notification. Now, the first thing it gives you the share code with the unit cost price, is basically what I paid per share, the current price, what the share is currently worth, the target value percentage is currently set on 10%. Now, that all depends on yourself, basically, how you want to set up your targets. All right, don't expect too much in the beginning of a share. All right, like 10% is more than enough, especially when you just bought the share. You can even go a little bit lower, and at a later stage, when the shares reach your target, you can set it up to a higher target value if you really wanted to. But in the beginning, I would say a 10% target value is more than enough. And then just on the right of that, you get your stop loss percentage. Now that is basically when the share would tell you to go and sell the share. Okay. Um, so the stop loss percentage currently is set at 8%. All right. So when the share falls with 8%, then you need to go and react on that stop loss. All right. It won't auto sell for you. You need to go into the software and sell the share. Now, obviously, when you're trading through Standard Bank or FNB, you've got the option for either auto stop loss, which will auto sell it for you, or on FNB, it would be a contingency sell. So you need to set up a certain contingent for it to reach before it sells the share, either in an upwards or a downward trend. So once it reaches your stop loss percentage of 8%, or let's say 10% or 4% or 5%, depending on how much you're willing to lose on your initial investment value or trade value, you need to set that percentage. You need to ask yourself, what percentage am I willing to lose on this share if the share goes down? All right, so instead of it going up, let's say the share goes down, then you need to go and react on it. Right. And also another thing about the stop loss is when you reach your stop loss, usually you will go and sell a share. Don't argue around a stop loss percentage. So once it reaches your stop loss of 8% or 10%, well, if the case might be, go and sell the share. All right, there's a reason why we've put up rules in the simulation T's and C's. All right, so one of the T's and C's tells us that if no share is allowed to fall further than 10%. Okay, so once it reaches that 10% on your simulation portfolio, that's nothing to do with your trading accounts or any other accounts that you've got on your portfolio. It's only for the simulation, all right, because those are the shares that we keep an eye on, all right, to do the simulation reports. So once it reaches 10% on a stop loss, rather go and sell, then look for something else. Okay. So that's why I usually take like 8% or 9%. And I know I'm still keeping to the rules of the software. All right. Gross stop loss obviously is halfway to your stop loss in the beginning. So this one works a little bit weird. So once it reaches your, let's say you break even. Okay, so your break even point, for instance, is 4%, exactly 4%, and it reaches that 4%. Then what will happen? It will change it to a positive growth instead of a negative growth. So it's like, for instance, when you're doing trades, normal trades on CFDs, then you get a limit price. Okay, so that's basically going to be the limit price, like the more or less the same as your target, but that will be like your limit price, like you're limiting it to that percentage. So for instance, my current price is 71, but my gross stop loss is on 71.86. Okay, so 4% up is 86 cents. Okay, so once it reaches that, that will be my limit, and I sell out of my limit. But obviously, I want to reach the target. Okay, but this time I've already reached the target with 276%. All right. So then usually what I do with that is in the beginning I make it like half. You can set it higher, but don't make it higher than what your target is. Okay. Then you just enter your cell phone number, activate, and then turn on intraday SMS. All right, now the intraday SMS will send you SMS 3 times per day. All right, so those aren't really SMSs that you have to go and react on. Okay, so we're going to get a lot of questions. What must I do with this SMS telling me that the share has increased or decreased? All right, the only time you react is once it reaches target value, you can decide to sell it or not, or you can just increase your target value to, let's say, 15%. Stop loss, you need to react. You need to go in, react on the SMS, sell your share. Once it reaches your gross stop loss, you need to react, go and check on the charts. What is the share currently doing? Okay, and then those other two ones that you get is the increase or decrease by X value from your set value. Now, set value is obviously the unit cost price. Okay, so set value would be the buying price that I bought the share at. Okay, but it would be including brokerage, right? Not excluding brokerage. That would be including brokerage. Okay, so it will tell you, listen, my SSW shares as increased by X amount, all right, with the percentage obviously with it, and then I don't need to log into the software to go and check my charting. So that's basically the focus on the intraday SMS notification. So you don't need to log in every 5 minutes or every hour or every 5 hours just to go check your shares. All right. So if you, for instance, someone that works really hard during the day, you don't really have time to go into the software, the SMS will notify you. Then by the time you get home at night, you can log in and check what your shares has done on the charts. All right. But once it reaches a target or stop loss or gross stop loss, you will need to log in to go and check what's happening to your shares. And that's why technology is so wonderful. You can even use your cell phone to quickly log in and check what your shares are currently doing. Okay, and then once I've done that, once I've set up my SMS notification, I can just say update values. All right, so once I say update values, it will set my SMS. So SMS notification updated and updated client preferences. Now my SMS is updated. If I want to remove that from the SMS system, just go back to action on my right hand side, go to set stop loss, and then simply click on deactivate and untick, and then say update values. All right, then it's going to remove that SMS from that share. Okay, now obviously those SMS notifications you only set up once you've bought your shares. All right, now what about the other SMS notifications, like for instance my Golden Goose SMS notifications or my stock pick SMS notifications that I get. Now this is more or less, if we go right to the top here, this is more or less how they will look. All right, so this is basically the Golden Goose alerts for today. So the first type you'll get is the following shares reached its daily sell level and might drop even further. All right, so these are basically shares that if you're trading CFDs, obviously, you'll react on something like that. So it's reached its daily sell level. Okay, so it means instead of it being a long, it would be a short that you're going to do. All right, so you're going to put in a sell because you say that the system is telling you that the share is going to drop even further. So that would be a CFD downwards trade instead of a CFD upwards trade. Okay. Next one would be an example here. Your KST trade is currently in a bearish downward trend. Okay, so that's only after you bought a share from the Golden Goose. Okay, and that's why you've got a Golden Goose account. All right, so once you've bought, let's say, KST on your Golden Goose account, then it will send that SMS to you telling you that your share that you're currently trading is going in a downward trend. Right, or it might tell you that your share is going in a upward trend. All right, depending on which direction you've bought the share. Okay, so if you bought it in a downward trend, then it will say that your share is going up. It will warn you. Okay. The following, and then the next one would be the following reached weekly buy level and only the weekly. All right. So if we go to the Golden Goose, all right. So if we go to analysis and we go to the Golden Goose, all right, you'll see that you've got two tabs. You've got the Golden Goose weekly signals and your daily signals. Now that SMS over there will tell you that it's only reached the weekly or breached the weekly buy level. Okay, so if we go to the software and I open the weekly signals, it means that it only breached on the buy entry price. Okay, so it means that it's green. Okay, so it changed from amber to green, so it means that it breached the level. Green is the breaching level, so shares breach level is green, and then it would have breached that price over there. Okay, so it will tell me for today that those shares, okay, have breached their levels. Okay, so it won't be the entire list, it will only be some of them, because obviously some of them have already moved. Okay, so one or two of these shares has breached the level, and then usually at the bottom of the SMS, it will tell you, listen here, these are the shares that's breached the level, like one or two of them. Okay, um, the next one that you'll get is the following shares breached reaches daily buy level. So it means that those shares are only on the daily ones. They're not on the weekly, but they're only on the daily. Okay. The next one would be the following shares breached reach its daily buy level, both weekly and daily. Okay. So it means that that same share, let's say it's KST for instance, KST has breached its level on the weekly and the daily, right, for a buy. And the next one would be the following shares reach both daily and weekly buy levels, both daily and weekly, within the shares alongside it. Okay, so we'll say that KST and PSG and SSW, those types of shares, has breached the level on both of the lists. So these two SMS notifications are more or less similar. And then this one will say that the following shares reached its weekly sell level and might drop even further. Okay, so that's the weekly one. At the top, we had the daily one. Okay, so those ones would be the ones telling you that those shares would drop even further, indicating that if you are a trader, not an investor, if you are a trader, you can put in a short, all right, or a selling position. Okay. Now, next one we have here is the stock picks. Now, this is more or less what a stock pick would look like. So it's not going to tell you to buy, for instance, like buy or sell like the Golden Goose SMS notifications. These ones gives you basically the shares that comes from the stocks page, right? So stocks and then additional advisors. All right, so the additional advisors are set to certain parameters. Like, for instance, the first one would be a long, for instance, with a stochastic, and then we'll calculate it from there. All right, so that's basically how it's calculated. Also with a volume obviously greater than 100,000. Okay, and then we'll look at, is the long a buy, and then also is the stochastic a buy, and then it will send that list to you. All right, so that would have been the list that you would have gotten. Okay, so that's how it calculates the stock pick for you, but you still need to go and do analysis on those shares. Most of the analysis has already been done for you on these Golden Goose SMS notifications, but with this you still need to go and do some analysis. So the system already did looked at the longevity of the share. Is the share in a upwards in an overall upward trend? Okay, and then also it looks at the stochastic. Is the stochastic low? Right. Obviously, you still need to go and look at the charting to see, is the RSI also low? Is the relative strength index also in a buying level? Right. And is the relative strength index going in a strong trend? Okay. So it will say that stock picks. This is for the 16th. So the last list was sent on the 16th. So it gave us BHP with the price that it sent out at that certain time. So at that time, BHP was 442 rand and 1 cent. Same with CLS. CLS was 240 rand and 81 cents. So you need to physically take these shares. So I take that share. Okay, so I take it to my charts IQ. So open my charts IQ. So I don't even need to go to the additional advisors. I just open charts IQ and I type in the code over there. So I type in BHP. I hit enter, and then it will give me BHP. Okay, so let me just remove my previous lines here. So now what it basically did is it looked at where the share is currently sitting. Okay, so if we take my vertical line here, we'll see that we've got a crossover over here and we've got a crossover over here, and the share might go up from here. So it looks like the share has got like a little turnaround down here because of the RSI crossing down there and the stochastic having a cross down there. But the SMS went out on the 16th. So this share would not have been a buy on the 16th. It would have been a watch list share. So some of the shares that you get on the SMS would obviously not be a buy immediately. Sometimes you need to take the share and go and put it onto the watch list. Now, Rudi, how do you put it on the watch list? Okay, so what you do is you don't need, as I said, you don't need to come back to the additional advisors. You can even be on your dashboard. So you've got your SMS in front of you, you've got your phone open, you go click on search at the top there, you enter your result that you got off the SMS. So I want to add BHP, for instance, on the 16th, I want to add BHP on my watch list. Now I type in the code BHP and then click on the result that it gives me and then add to watch list. Right, then it will say please supply a comment optional. Right, so over here would have said stock pick notification. Okay, wait till RSI and stochastic crosses through. So once I've done that, I can say submit. All right, and we'll add it onto my watch list. So at the bottom, it will say successfully added watch list entry. Now, where do I find my watch list? That's easy. We go to accounts, analysis, and then we go to stocks, and then there where it says my stocks and watch list, that's where I find my watch list. So obviously I've already added a few on, but if I go to page 2, then BHP would be right at the bottom. Okay, so then what I do is if I want to go and analyze a share again, I just go to Charts IQ, or I click on the eye icon next to it, icon, and then go to Charts IQ, and then I can analyze it again. Okay, so every time you get a SMS notification with a few shares, it would be wise to just first go add them onto your watch list or go analyze them. All right, do analysis first on them, see to it, okay, the share is still going down. The RSI has not crossed over yet. I just need to wait for the crossover, and that's the case now. It crossed over, so that's a buying indication. All right, and down here also, same thing, I've got a buying indication. Right, so the RSI, the stochastic and the RSI has a crossover on the same day, which means that tomorrow the share might go up. Okay, so on the 19th, which is tomorrow, then on tomorrow would be Friday, then I can maybe buy the share because the price might go up because of the RSI and stochastic already giving me the buying indications. But obviously there's a lot of other technical analysis that you can do to see is the share really is the share price really going to go up? But most likely, because you've got crossover points, the share price would be likely to go up. Sometimes it might fail depending on the overall trend of the share. Okay, so then you can just obviously move over to the next one. Take the same with CLS. Go and analyze the share. Take Northern Platts, analyze the share. Take Naspers, analyze the share, and take those shares. And if they're not buying at the buying levels yet, take the share, put them on a watch list. So that's a little bit more interaction with the software. All right, so these stock picks, you need to have a little bit more time, just going to analyze the shares and see where they're currently at. Okay, and then add them to a watch list. Day or two later, buy the share. All right, that's where the Golden Goose makes it a little bit easier for you to buy your shares, because it tells you these shares has reached the buying levels or reached the selling levels, right? And these shares might go up, or these shares are both on weekly and daily. Okay, so that makes it a little bit easier. Okay, now we already explained the Sharetrackin, the normal Sharetrackin, the target value, stop loss, growth stop loss, intraday increase and decrease. So those are easy to set up. Once you've bought a share, take the go to the share, set up a stop loss. But then also you must know that you will get Golden Goose SMS notifications if you have registered for the Golden Goose, obviously. Okay. So that's the basics of the SMS notifications. All right. So it's Golden Goose, it's stock picks, and then your normal SMS notifications that you set up yourself. So stock picks is a must, so that you will either receive once or twice a week, or even sometimes 3 times a week, depending on what's available on the JSE. Right, so not only is the stock pick set to a long and a stochastic, it is set to other parameters as well. Okay, so if you see a list for the day, it doesn't mean that you would have received that list if you do your own, and if you're going to go and do your own filtering. Right, it doesn't mean that's the list you'll get for today. We try and refine those picks for you. Right, so it makes it easier to go and analyze them. so that the shares aren't too high, for instance, on the stochastic and RSI, still going in a downward trend. They might just be below 20, so it means that you just need to wait a day or two and not an entire week or an entire month for the share to go down. Okay, so that makes it a little bit easier for you. So these have semi been analyzed for you by the system. These obviously have already been analyzed by Mushima, right, by the guru. That's why they call them the golden goose. Okay, because of our share tracking guru. Okay, but over here at bottom, you need to be your own guru just for your SMS notifications. But as I said, if you're trading through Standard Bank or through FNB, you will have the stop loss option. But with through FNB, if you're trading equities, you won't be able to set up stop losses. Only Standard Bank has the auto stop loss function. All right, or auto limit function. So once it reaches the certain price upwards, it would sell it, or reaches a certain point downwards, it would sell the share for you. The gross stop loss would be basically like your limit. Stop loss would be where you want to sell out. Target value is the target that you want to reach. But as I said, don't expect too much from the target value in the beginning, and always sell when it tells you that your stop loss has been reached, or else you'll find yourself in a situation where share falls by 30%. You need to regain by 30% plus the extra 30%, which makes it 60% to make it worthwhile. All right, and then the gross stop loss, just need to go and log in and make sure that your share can still go up, or if you're trading in downward direction, still go down. Okay, so that's it for the SMS notifications. It is really straightforward, but I mean, if there is any other questions on the SMS notifications, you're more than welcome to go to Need Support, send through a query, just say ask a question, and send through your name, contact number, email, message, submit it, and then I can phone you back and assist you with it. Or you can go to contact us and contact us on the support numbers, either the 082, the 083, or the 067 number, or even during the day on the 012 number. Or you can even send us an email to info@sharetrackin.com or support@sharetrackin.com, or send me an email directly to Rudi@sharetrackin.com, and then I can send you a few examples of what the SMSs would more or less look like. But the webinar is more or less self-explanatory on all the explanations that I gave you that the Golden Goose or the system would send you. Okay, so then I'll see you guys next week, and then we'll go a little bit more into technical analysis and those types of things.